Thank you very much, Conference, and good afternoon. It's great to feel at home. I'm from Liverpool, and and you'll never walk alone. I'm a season ticket holder. I was about to come on to that. And the Liverpool accent is a mixture of English, Irish, Welsh, and Scandinavian, because we were once the biggest port in the world, and people in England struggle to understand us, but at least here, among Scandinavians, I'm sure you understand me more than most people do in London, so I feel at home. I'd like to thank Peter and Christina, your MEPs, who invited me over here today. They do a fantastic job on your behalf. They are politically sound. We have lots of common ground, and they're doing a great job, not just on behalf of the Swedish Democrats, but on behalf of the whole of Sweden in the European Parliament. Please put your hands together for Peter and Christina. And of course, our two parties, the Swedish Democrats and UKIP, are very similar. In 2006, Nigel Farage took over the leadership of UKIP when it was a party which many people had written off. People thought the party was dying, it was going nowhere. And we were polling around 1%. Now, 9 years on, UKIP went on in 2014 and became the first political party since 1906 to win a national election that wasn't the Labour Party or the Conservatives. We went on this year and scored 4 million votes at the general election. Now, this is similar to you guys, because, of course, Jimmy took over your leadership in 2005. When you were on 2%. And look at what he has led you to. You are now leading in the polls in Sweden. You are a beacon of light to all of us across Europe who believe in national sovereignty and democracy. Like us, you are the antithesis of the old, stale establishment parties. And the gap between the people and the politicians has never been wider. People are looking for something new. People are looking for change. In the UK, it's UKIP, and it's obvious to everyone now across Europe. In Sweden, it is the Swedish Democrats who are going from strength to strength. We have many things which bind our parties together. Democracy is the first. We sit in the European Parliament. It isn't really a parliament. It's an amending chamber. The laws are not made in the European Parliament. They're not made by the democratically elected MEPs. They're made about a mile up the road in a building called the Parliament Building, where 28 European commissioners, all unelected, meet in secret and draw up the legislation. Now, over half the laws in my country are now made in that fashion. They don't begin in London. They begin in Brussels. And it is the same here in Sweden. And what you guys want and what we want is that the people who make the laws are the people we directly elect. We want it to be in London. You want it to be in Stockholm. Ladies and gentlemen, that is national sovereignty, that is democracy, and that is what we both stand for. And it's the cost, isn't it? You know, We in the UK are paying £55 million every single day to be members of the European Union. I'm led to believe your contributions on a yearly basis are over £4 billion. Yes, you get a small proportion of that back, but where is Swedish taxpayers' money being spent? Well, it's building motorways in Romania. It's building a sewage system in Budapest, an underground in Warsaw, an airport in Spain that's never going to be used. Wouldn't it be better, ladies and gentlemen, if Swedish taxpayers' money was spent here in Sweden, on the Swedish people, on your health system, on your schools and on your transport network? And you couldn't make this nonsense up. The European Union hasn't had its account signed off for 20 years on the run. If the European Union was a private business, the chairman, the chief executive and the board would all be in prison. And what's worse is that money that you contribute is going towards the accession of Turkey. Turkey joining the European Union. Only 3% of Turkey is actually in Europe. Turkey, a country which borders with Syria, Iraq, Iran, countries that harbour terrorism, countries that want to harm us. Ladies and gentlemen, my party and your party are clear on this fact. Turkey has no place in the European Union. And whilst you're members of this club, you cannot control your own borders. Only 2 days ago, it was announced in Britain that 336,000 people net came to our country last year. To put that in perspective, that is a city the size of Malmo. This has led to stagnation of wages. The Bank of England have said it, the trade unions are saying it. It's also putting British people out of work because they're being undercut by cheap foreign labour. And you guys are in the same boat. You're projected to have 200,000 people coming to this country this year. That is the highest per capita in the whole of Europe. And what we're saying, and what you're saying, is that there's nothing racist, there's nothing xenophobic about saying we want to control our own borders. We should have the ability to say who we want and who we don't want to come to our countries. That is democracy, ladies and gentlemen. And the totem of any sovereign state is that you have the ability to control your own borders. Whilst we're members of the European Union, you cannot do this. Therefore, we in UKIP believe Britain would be better off outside the EU altogether. And I'm guessing if we leave, and I suspect we will in 2017, Sweden may well follow our lead. We love Sweden in Britain. We've always looked on Sweden as a tolerant, open, liberal country, a country that has a lot to be proud of. But we look at Sweden and we fear. We fear because of the demographic change. We fear because we believe that your tolerance, and you have probably more tolerance than the vast majority of countries in Europe. Your tolerance has led to an acceptance of intolerance. I look at a country which over the years has been riven with political correctness, a country whereby you are forced to say that all cultures are equal. Well, they're not. A culture which forces its young girls into marriage is not equal to ours. A culture that persecutes homosexuals is not equal to ours. A culture that conducts female genital mutilation is not equal to ours. A culture which has courts whereby the word of a woman is only half that of a man is not equal to ours. We have a lot to be proud of in Europe, ladies and gentlemen. We are the continent of democracy, the Enlightenment, the Renaissance. We must once again be proud of ourselves, be proud of our culture, because that is the only way, ladies and gentlemen, we will control who comes and who doesn't come into our countries. That is the only way we will get democracy back. We must be proud of ourselves. We must not self-flagellate anymore, and we must do away with the political ideology of political correctness. A couple of weeks ago, I took a walk in Brussels with Jimmy round an area called Molenbeek. For those of you who don't know, Molenbeek is the centre of European jihad. It's where a number of attacks have originated, even a number of the Paris terrorists who slain young innocent people in a theatre, enjoying food in restaurants. They came from this place called Molenbeek. Molenbeek is a snapshot, ladies and gentlemen, of everything which has gone wrong. Molenbeek has been under the boot of aggressive, forced multiculturalism. A forced multiculturalism that hasn't created the diversity which they thought it would. What it's done is it's created division. Because Molenbeek is a ghetto where people come in their droves from foreign nations and do not integrate into society. They do not learn the language. They don't really get to meet people outside of their own community. Ladies and gentlemen, last week, Jean-Claude Juncker, the President of the European Commission, said that the Schengen Agreement was in a coma. Well, I believe that we should put the failed policy of multiculturalism into a coma, because I believe in multi-ethnicity, but there should only be one culture. We should all speak the same language. We should all sign up to the same rules. We should all practice the same laws, because, ladies and gentlemen, when in Rome, you act like the Romans. We have a fantastic future ahead of us. Your party and my party. People are really connecting with what we have to say. Do you know why? Because we speak the language of the people. We straight talk. We tell it how it is. We say the things that other people are thinking, but actually don't have the honesty to say. And that is why people are flocking to us. That is why we are going up in the polls. The old days of the cardboard cutout Teflon politician that speaks like this and has been over media trained is over. What people want are normal folk in their parliament. They want their politicians to sound, act and look like normal people. And that's what you have in this party with Peter and Christina and Jimmy. Normal people who will stand up for the rights of working class people who have not been stood up for a long time. People who've been left behind by the establishment, left behind by the old political parties. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why I believe you, the Swedish Democrats, will go on and win. I'm going to finish, because my allotted time is nearly up, by saying this. My party has a slogan. It's Believe in Britain. Do you believe in Sweden? Yes. Madam, do you believe in Sweden? Yes. Sir, do you believe in Sweden? Yes. Do you all believe in Sweden? Yes. We in Britain also believe in Sweden, and we will be by your side right the way through until you prevail. Thank you very much.